Hello, welcome to my Fall into Manga Love reading vlog. It's the night before, so this is Saturday night, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I am so excited we're doing this. It's gonna be a good time. So I have my TBR here. That's my main TBR I have picked out. But if I get through all of these before the end of the readathon, I have another entire series that I could possibly knock out, which is Demon Love Spell. This is a smutty, I don't know for sure if it's shoujo or josei, but it's published by Shoujo Beat. And yes, so I have that entire series that I've been wanting to collect and read anyway. I picked it all up recently, and yes, so that is a potential, and I wanted you guys to know that that was a potential to be read. So this is obviously the main focus here, what I already have picked out, and it's gonna be a good time. So I hope you all are ready for a really fun time. Hello, good morning. It is officially day one of Fall into Manga Love, and I've read 2 volumes of manga so far. The first one is a digital one, and that is Living Room Matsunaga-San Volume 6. I really like some of the progress that happened in Volume 6, and I have lots of feelings about it. I know we're getting this one physically coming out next year, but I still will be collecting it digitally until they match up, and of course I'll buy it physically because this is one that I love and I will reread over and over and over again. But yes, anyways, loving Living Room Matsunaga-san. And the other thing that I read this morning was Volume 3 of Strobe Edge. So I'm not going to say too much about this one yet, just because I do have Volume 4 to read. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Volume 4, and then I'm going to dive into behind the scenes. But first, I need to eat, because I'm a hungry girl. And it's like late on Sunday morning. So yes, I did not eat before I went to church, so now it's time to eat. And yes, so Strobe Edge Volume 3 has been read. So I've read 2 volumes so far, feeling good about it. And so now I'm going to move on to Strobe Edge Volume 4, and then I'm going to dig into behind the scenes, because that's my main focus during this readathon, is to get all of that read. And so I'm hoping I can do all of that today. And if I get anything else done today, that would be awesome. Okay, so now that I've finished Volume 4 of Strobe Edge, let's talk about it a little bit. So at the center of this, we have Ninako and Ren. In the first volume, Ninako confesses that she has feelings for Ren, but Ren turns her down as gently as he can because he does have a girlfriend, a longtime girlfriend, that he doesn't get to see very often because she's a model and is always gone, doesn't really attend school or anything like that. So no one was aware of this girlfriend. Anyways, so as time has gone on, Ninako and Ren have continued to be friends, and that seems to cause some problems. And Ren acts very differently around this girlfriend, but he relaxes and lets himself go with Ninako, and everybody around him is seeing it, and so things are kind of starting to come to a head. One of the other friends has confessed to Ninako, but Ninako doesn't have feelings for him. She has feelings for Ren, and she doesn't think it's fair to date him while she still has feelings for Ren, so she told him no. And then there's another couple in there. It's actually Ren's girlfriend's brother and one of Ninako's friends that are dating, and so they've kind of had a couple of ups and downs as well. But anyways, this is just a lot of high school dating drama, and I like it. I think it's just because I like Saki Saka's art, as well as the way she's weaving all of the stories together. So it's really interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes from here. There's 6 more volumes in this series. I just don't own them. So I'm done reading Strobe Edge for today. But yes, I am enjoying this. It's probably a solid 4-star series for me. It would take something pretty drastic one way or the other for it to budge from that direction. So from here, I'm going to start behind the scenes. I don't know how often I'm going to check in while I'm reading it. But yeah, I think that's just the next logical step for me, because that is a high priority for me on these 2 days. Hey friends, so it's been a little bit since we chatted. I just finished up sprints. It's about 2 p.m. here in Utah right now, and I have finished the first 2 volumes of Behind the Scenes since we last talked. These were both technically rereads for me, but I have been taking pretty detailed notes on them for something that I've got coming up soon, and I am really enjoying my read-through of it. There are parts of it that I think I missed on first reads that I'm glad I'm getting to see on this. So yes, I am definitely excited. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, get a little bit of a snack, and then I plan on continuing on with Behind the Scenes for now. I want to at least get 2 more volumes done in this today, and then I might jump to something else just to kind of break it up. But at the same time, it'll also depend on the momentum that I'm feeling at the time. So there's a good chance that I might just stick with it and finish that out today. If that's the case, then I definitely still have other things to read, obviously, because this was my priority, but it'll just make for an interesting day tomorrow. It's taking me a lot longer than normal because I am stopping to take the notes and things as I go along. So that does make for an interesting thing. So if I can get Behind the Scenes finished today, that would be ideal, because I still have 5 more volumes to go through to be complete. So anyways, just thought I'd give you a quick little update. I'm not going to share too many details with this. Essentially, we're following Ranmaru here, who is essentially a college freshman, so a first year in college, who accidentally stumbles upon the I forget what it's called, the art something club? Art squad, I think is what they call themselves. But basically they're like the geeky set designers for movies and theater and stuff on campus. And Ranmaru actually has a talent for that kind of stuff, but he was always told to suppress it. So now he has a place where he can finally explore that. And it's really fun to watch him explore that. Some of these characters do have quirks that remind me of characters in things like Oron or Millennium Snow, which are other Bisco Hattori works. But yes, all in all, I am still genuinely enjoying this. So okay, friends, so I just finished Behind the Scenes, as you saw from the previous clips before this. I ended up really enjoying it. It's a solid 4-star series. Throughout, it was more about the friendship and the camaraderie of the art crew that kind of was the focus of the story. There were a few little ships and romantic pairings throughout, but the primary focus was their friendship and camaraderie, and I really loved that about the story. There was one little thing that happened at the end that's kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to share, but it made this story feel a little less genuine to me, if I'm honest. But yeah, there were other parts of the ending that I absolutely loved and adored how it played out, and it was perfect. So anyway, Behind the Scenes was good. Like I say, I have a project coming up where you'll get to hear more of my full thoughts. Plus, I do plan on making a blog post pretty in-depth about this because I do have all my notes that I took as I read it through this time. So anyhow, that is all I've kind of been doing this afternoon, is reading on and off and taking little breaks, and it's been great. So I've read a total of 10 volumes today so far. That's really good considering it's only 5:30 Utah time. I do plan on doing another sprint in a couple of hours. So when I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to focus on Count Fujiwara's Suffering, because that's a one-shot. So I think I'm just going to focus on that one the rest of the afternoon. And then come tomorrow, I can focus on the heroic legend of Arslan, case study of Vanitas, and if there's time, demon love spell. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. That's just kind of the plan. I might change my mind later. But right now it's kind of a break to just relax, let the rest of behind the scenes settle with me, and get some food. Okay, friends, so this is going to be my last check-in for tonight. So I've been reading Count Fujiwara's Suffering for a little while now. I'm like 130-ish pages in. I'm like 8 chapters in. And the chapters aren't super long in this one, so I'm right there. So I've got all that left. And part of me feels like I'm suffering with the Count, our little cat character. And so there are points that I'm really enjoying the series and other parts that I'm like, why did we have to go there? Why did it have to do that? Why? So one thing I'm going to say right now is the younger sister has a sister complex where she thinks she feels romantically about her older sister. And it's very uncomfortable for me to read at times. I have not decided how much further I'm going to go into this. I'm just kind of treating it chapter by chapter. The sister stuff has been really calm the last couple, so that's been my biggest thing. I expected a little bit of fan service from the style of the art, so I wasn't surprised by that. It is a little excessive for my personal taste, but yeah, the only thing that's got me hanging on is the Count. I think the Count is a fantastic cat character. I love being in the Count's head. It's just some of the stuff that's going on around him is not what I typically enjoy when I pick up manga. So, I don't think I'm gonna fall in love with this particular manga. Good morning. So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday the 14th now. And I wanted to catch you guys up on last night and what I decided. I read a little bit more of Count Fujiwara's Suffering, and it felt like suffering. So we're not gonna finish Count Fujiwara's Suffering. It was a little too fan servicey for me. I mean, I can handle some, but that crossed a line multiple times for me. And the sister complex was way too much. And the only thing that kept me going was the dynamic with the cat, because I loved being in the cat's head. But there are other manga that I can get that in, so I decided that I was done with Count Fujiwara's Suffering. I was no longer going to suffer. So what I did last night is I kind of just vegged out after I decided that. Played some Candy Crush, like did a whole lot of nothing, just kind of loafed, which was nice. And then I did start, and I finished this morning, Volume 2 of the Heroic Legend of Arslan. Now this is a very war-driven political story with Himuro Arakawa's beautiful art. I don't know if it's based on a book, is kind of what I want to say, and that's why the story is by someone different, but I do love Arakawa's art and tend to really enjoy it. So I've got 3 more volumes of that to read today, so I think that's going to be my focus. I've got a little bit of a sinus headache this morning, so I'm going to take something for it, and then I wanted to run to my local Barnes & Noble to see if they had a couple things that are on my backlist that I haven't gotten yet. All of my new releases, all my new manga releases for tomorrow, technically, I pre-ordered because I wanted to make sure I got them, but Amazon seems to be sending them late, so if they have them at the bookstore, I will cancel my Amazon order. I know they won't have Tokyo Terror Rainbow Girl, so that one will stay pre-ordered, obviously, but they may have the other 2. So if they have the other 2, then I'll probably pick those up as well. But specifically, I like to pick up my Brandon Sanderson locally because he is a local author, but they can't seem to keep White Sand Volume 3 in stock or something. I don't know, because every time I go, they don't seem to have it, but it's always on order. So I will see if they have it today. I'm hoping they do. If not, I still have other things to pick up. So Anyhow, I think I'm going to do that first before I dig into more of the heroic legend of Arslan. Because, I'm sorry, I'm still waking up. I need to get, like, some caffeine or something in my system. So usually when I go out on Mondays, which are my day off, I'll run by and either get a big soda or run by Starbucks or something, and then go about my errands and then feel really energized by the time I get back. So that's kind of the plan. And I do need to run to the post office today, so I'll go get that done this morning as well. Amy from over at A Court of Crowns and Quills, she and I are doing another BTS card trade, so that's kind of the plan there. But yeah, so anyway, that's what's going on there, and I will chat with you later. So some time has passed since we last chatted. I have read 3 more volumes of manga since we last talked, which are the remaining 3 of the heroic legend of Arslan that I own. So this is just very much a politically centered medieval fantasy. Very politically centered, very territorial. It's really good. I really enjoy the story. I enjoy the art more than the story, if I'm honest. I do wish Arakawa could have taken over the storytelling a little bit, but I can tell that Arakawa's doing what they can with the story that they have. So I am enjoying it, but this is one that I'm only gonna like slowly collect. This isn't one I'm a diehard for, but it does continue to interest me and pique my interest politically speaking, because it's not very often, at least that I come across in manga, that I find a good politically centered fantasy that I enjoy. There's a few that I've read that I'm just like, oh, this is boring. I'm sure a lot of people will find Arslan boring, but I find Himaru Arakawa's art style surpasses and takes over those moments when it starts to feel a little boring. I can focus more on the art, and it just kind of fills everything out, and I end up really enjoying it. I did do a little bit of shopping, though, because I did go ahead and run to my local Barnes & Noble, and so I was able to change up my Amazon order, so I'm only waiting on Tokyo Terroriba Girls Volume 9, which the second I get that, you guys will hear all about that, and you know it. So let me show you what I got. I got Mythical Beast Investigator Volume 2. I loved Volume 1. It doesn't sit as well with everybody because they're very short and episodic. I'm hoping this second volume kind of ties a bigger arcing storyline to everything. That's what I'm hoping, at least. And then I picked up Phantom Tales of the Night. I believe this is our Panels Book Club manga pick for the month of October. And I've heard really good things about this particular one. So it's one that's definitely intriguing. I love yokai-related stories when it comes to manga. And I love the paranormal sides of things. So this is one that I'm definitely excited to be reading Volume 1 of. And then last, but definitely not least, I got the Collector's Edition Volume 2 of Cardcaptor Sakura. At least through Barnes & Noble, each volume of the collector's edition comes with a collectible Clo card. I believe they're all the same. I'm not 100% sure, but this one has the cute little purple-haired friend on the cover. I don't know why I can't think of her name right this second. But yes, so she's the one on this particular card, and they all have the same back. So, yes. I think what I'm going to do, because I'm so well ahead of things, is I think I want to read, and I don't know if I'm feeling Vanitas, even though it's October. I think I want to wait till, like, the week of Halloween to read those, if I'm honest. Because they're a steampunk vampire-centered historical fiction. They're really fun, and I do enjoy them when I read them. But I feel like I'm not quite in the right mood for that. So I think what I want to do is I want to read some Cardcaptor and some Mythical Beast Investigator at least. And then I think I want to jump into Demon Love Spell. I think that's just going to be a better flow for me. If I have time and energy after that, and if I feel up to it, then I'll probably start those couple of volumes of case study for Vanitas that I've got. But yes, I'm going to save this and do a dedicated video talking about this. Maybe a little bit vlog style. I'm not 100% sure. But this is one that I want to do a deeper dive on. So I don't think I want to do that today, especially after all the deep diving yesterday. So I think that's how I'm going to handle things. I'm going to read these two, and then I'm going to read Demon Love Spell because I really want to read Demon Love Spell. All my friends that love the smutty mangas really enjoy that one. So it's only a 6-volume series, so I could easily knock it out today. It's just about noon, so I've got hours to go. So I really think that's going to be my plan of attack. This is the final volume. It's only a 2-volume series. I'm so sad right now. I loved these characters. I loved the world, and they could have expanded so much in this world. But it's still really sweet, and I still really like it. But I just wanted more. And now I'm like all sorts of sad because it's over. I ended up picking up this one instead of Cardcaptor first because it was just calling to me. And now that I know it's the end, I was reading along, no idea it was the end, and then it said final chapter, and I'm like, what? And yeah, it says on the back of the volume, an end to the journey. Like, it's over. This is the final volume. I'm so sad. I wanted so much more. I love mythical worlds and magical girls, and it was so sweet and so cute. We got a more cohesive, like, backstory between our little demon rabbit and our mythical beast investigator, and that took a few chapters. That probably was like half of this volume, and that was totally fine. I needed that. That's what I was hoping to get, but I was hoping to have more beyond that. But instead, here we are. And I'm sad because I wanted more. And yeah, anyways, so that's my thoughts on that, because I was so shocked that this was the final volume that I had to tell you guys. And yes, so if you want a really short, really fun series, definitely pick up this one. Okay, so I just finished volume 2 of the collector's editions of Cardcaptor Sakura. This is technically out just tomorrow, this Tuesday, the 15th, but my Barnes & Noble had it out early, so I picked it up. And yes, I am liking Cardcaptor Sakura way more than I enjoyed Sailor Moon. I think it was because I was so fixated on how awful Memoro was that I ended up not enjoying Sailor Moon. So I do intend to go back once I've got all the collector's editions in my possession and like do a reread and refresh my thoughts. But this is adorable. Yes, it's interesting that they're all fixated on the one person. I think that will play into things down the line. I'm trying to be vague for people who haven't read it. I mean, most people have. I'm the weirdo that hasn't read through the whole series yet. But I continue to enjoy it, and I'll continue to pick these up as they release. There's going to be a total of 5 of these, I believe. And they're releasing a lot faster than the Sailor Moon ones, which surprises me. You think they'd release in about the similar pace, but anyway, so yeah, that was what I've read so far. It's almost 1 o'clock now, so I think I'm going to focus on Demon Love Spell for the rest of the afternoon. Hey friends, it is now 2:30 and I have finished the first 2 volumes of Demon Love Spell. I'm absolutely adoring it. It has just enough sweet and just enough pervy to be the perfect balance for my little smutty soul without being like over the top. So I am absolutely loving this. Essentially, we're following a shrine priestess girl who can't really see demons, but she can sense them sometimes, and an incubus that she ends up catching. And they kind of make a deal because as long as she's touching him, she can see demons. And so it's just been really cute. And she turns him in when he's bound by her. He's in a little like small chibi form, as you can kind of see right there. And it's just a lot of fun. It's just a good time. It's a good ride. So what I did is I actually did a live stream on YouTube that was a read along. So I had other people there that were reading along with me, and that was so fun. I think in future readathons I'll do that again, just to do like the read along. So we can kind of have a discussion in the comments while we're all reading, but there's not really any pressure. And there was somebody who came and decided to troll my stream, which was interesting. And of course the first comment out of them is, "You're fat." I'm like, oh, so original of you. That's immediately what went through my mind. I just kind of tried to ignore him and stuff during the stream. But yeah, that was a little disheartening, I guess, that's the first thing a troll's going to say to me. But yeah, whatever. Not the end of the world. But anyways, I'm going to get back to reading more Demon Love Spell because it's freaking hilarious and I'm loving it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Hello, so it has been a couple of hours since we last chatted, and I finished Demon Love Spell. I really loved this. I loved the way everything played out. I loved that it wasn't long and drawn out and overly complicated. The plot was fairly simple for the most part, and I just really enjoyed it. It was just a good, fun, little bit smutty time. And that's exactly what I was hoping for in this kind of a story. Because he's an incubus, obviously, there's a lot of innuendo and things and lead-ups to moments, but there's only one true moment in the final volume, and I'm okay with that, considering it's a shoujo title. So there's a lot of lead-up and, clothes still coming off but not going that far, and nothing super, explicit as most shoujo smut is. It's just kind of flowery, sparkly, you see silhouettes and side profiles more than anything. So I really enjoyed this thoroughly and immensely. The characters were a lot of fun. It was just a really fun romp of a ride. So thank you to all of my friends who recommended that I pick up Demon Love Spell because I have no regrets now. And yeah, I honestly think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the Manga Love Readathon here for me. I've read a lot in the last 2 days. I'm very pleased with what I've read. So let's go ahead and wrap up everything. I'm going to go stand on the bookshelf, by the bookshelves and stuff, and we'll go do it out there. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up everything that I've read for the Fall into Manga Love Readathon. So first off, I did read volumes 1 through 6 of Demon Love Spell. I was just talking about this in the previous clip, so I don't need to mention it again, but essentially we're following a priestess and an incubus who end up falling in love. It's really cute, really fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Next we have Cardcaptor Sakura, the Collector's Edition Volume 2. This is the furthest I've gotten in Cardcaptor Sakura, and I really thoroughly enjoy this. And this big Kodansha edition, they're just stunning, and the photo quality on the paper is fantastic. I highly recommend collecting these if you have not collected the series up to this point. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. I then did DNF Count Fujiwara Suffering. It felt like suffering reading this. I did get almost 200 pages into this, and it was just not what I signed up for. I do have friends that would love this a lot more than I did, so I'll most likely send it on to one of them. Next we have Mythical Beast Investigator, which is the final volume in the series. I had no idea it was just a duology, but It was good. I really loved what was going on in the second volume. I would have definitely taken a few more volumes in this world, but I understand why they ended it where they did, and this was a really good time. If you like mythical creatures and just kind of episodic adventures, this is definitely your kind of a story. Next, we have volumes 2 through 5 of the Heroic Legend of Arslan. This is a very politically driven manga, and it has that medieval fantasy kind of feel to it. So I don't know if this is based on actual history, but I do believe it's a manga adaptation of a book. I'm not 100% sure. But the mangaka is the same person who does Full Metal Alchemist, and I absolutely love their art. And I was kindly gifted these by Lindsay over at Lindsay Tut and for my birthday, and I really enjoyed reading them. So I highly recommend checking out the series if you like politically driven fantasy. Next, we have volumes 3 and 4 of Strobe Edge. This is by the same creator as Aoharu Ride. This is just a high school shoujo full of love triangles and shenanigans, and it's one that I definitely enjoy. I do intend to continue collecting the series and to finish it out. And then last, but definitely not least, I read the entirety of Behind the Scenes, in which we follow a young boy named Ranmaru who just entered college and stumbles across the art squad, who is basically like the tech crew for the movie studios and theaters on the college campus, and he finds his people, and it's very much a coming of age for Ranmaru. It's really fun. If you like theater or behind the scenes kinds of things, you'll really enjoy the series. It's got quirky characters, just like Disco Hattori always does. And it does have quite a bit of heart woven throughout all of the fun bits. So, oh, I did forget to mention that I did digitally read Volume 6 of Lemuru Matsunaga-San. I love staying current on the series. I feel like what happened in Volume 6 is very crucial for the rest of the series, so I'm really interested to see how it's going to continue from there. So, including that volume, I have read 22 volumes in the last 2 days. I am very pleased with that progress. I know it's only like 4:30-ish where I live, and I could keep going, but I don't want to overexhaust myself to a point where I burn out. So I've decided to end things here. When it comes to the Manga Love Readathon, I don't know that I will do a marathon 2-day again. I will probably do 24 hours or do one like spread out over a week with specific challenges. Let me know in the comments down below which you would prefer to see in the future, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.